When I'm doing these videos, I'm watching each episode twice. First time I watch it as an episode, because in many cases it's my first time watching it in several years. Then a few days later I watch it on my computer with a text editor open. I really concentrate on what I see and hear and write down some notes. Later I check my notes and write something which could be called a script. Record it and do the video editing. Why am I saying this? Well, the answer is pretty simple. This time I noticed one special thing. When I was watching this week's episode for the first time, I didn't like it. When I was watching it for the second time and concentrated on what was said instead of what was shown to us, I really like it. Why is that? Mark Daniels, or actually Daniel Marcus, was the director of 15 Star Trek The Original Series episodes, which means he did understand Star Trek, he knew the actors, he knew their characters, he knew the mythology, he understood perfectly what the show was about. That's why when he was offered to write a script for the animated show, he wrote One of Our Planets is Missing, and the script itself was pretty good. So why didn't I like the finished episode? I blame the animation and the direction. The directorial choices made for this episode make no sense from an artistic or storytelling point of view. During the original show, just like in this episode, we were pretty often given important information during the bridge scenes dialogues between Spock, Kirk, and McCoy. Daniels and other talented directors knew how to shoot these scenes in a way which would make them interesting for the viewer. Every shot and every reaction shot are there to tell the story and are exactly as important as the lines they're delivering. Not in the animated show. There is an important conversation going on the bridge, but we don't get to watch the people discussing the topic, but we get to watch a stock shot of Kirk staring at the screen from the back. Spock gives us a very important information, but instead of showing us Spock in an interesting way and Kirk's reaction to the information, we see a stock shot of the Enterprise. In other words, we are told important information, but we are being shown completely random visuals, making the information seem absolutely pointless. I assume they did it because animating moving lips takes time and talent, but cutting to a random stock shot makes you feel like there is nothing important going on in the scene at all. And that's a mistake, because the story is very good. The Enterprise is chasing a strange cloud which can absorb, or if you want, eat whole planets. And now the cloud changed its course to the planet Mantilles. Kirk orders Sulu to increase speed to warp 8 to intercept the cloud before it reaches Mantilles and kills all its inhabitants. So basically the plot of Star Trek the Motion Picture is a combination of the episodes The Changeling from the original series and this episode. Funny, I never noticed it until I've seen this episode. Bob Wesley, the Commodore from the original series episode The Ultimate Computer, has left Starfleet and is now the governor of Mantilles. So Kirk wants to warn him, however the Enterprise suddenly gets eaten by the cloud and weird white things are suddenly attacking her. These things are comprised of antimatter and cause a huge power drain on the shields. An antimatter charge from the shields is successful in dissipating the objects, which sounds pretty cool and would be even cooler if we would properly see it, right? We are now fed with a huge amount of very important information during a very short amount of time, and again we are told these things instead of actually see them. Wesley prepares an evacuation, but they don't have enough time. So they send only kids in all of their rockets. Again, this could be a great thing to see. Spock finds out that the cloud is a living organism and the white objects are enzymes, which it uses for easier digestion of the Enterprise. Scotty says the Enterprise lost way too much antimatter and they need to replace it somehow, so he cuts off a part of the creature's antimatter villi? Willy? Yeah, that's probably villi, not his willy. Mustachio beams it on board to a container which Scotty built in something like 10 seconds. They use it for regeneration of the ship's antimatter reserves, I think. Again, I have no clue what's happening. It all happens so fast and most of the stuff is just told to us. So I just assume that's what's happened. Kirk thanks Scotty for saving the ship. That's one scene. In the next scene, in which we see Scotty, Kirk orders him to prepare the ship for self-destruction. It looks like it's the only way how to kill a creature. Now, I have criticized many episodes in the past where Kirk was too aggressive and trigger-happy, but here the episode slows down a bit to show us that Kirk actually has moral problems with killing the creature, but he wants to do it because he sees no alternative how to save the Mantilles. So yes, that's probably because, as I said previously, Mark Daniels understands both the format and the characters. Thankfully, Spock tries a different approach. He mind melds with the cloud and explains to it that the planets he eats are inhabited by living things. The cloud doesn't believe it, so it comes inside of Spock. Okay, that sounded badly. The cloud then connects with Spock and he sees through his eyes. Uhura then plays for him a demo reel of Filmation cartoons, which persuades the cloud to leave Spock, and later also the galaxy. And we get to see the stack shot of the Enterprise while we are told the rest of the story. So, I like the story, and at the same time I don't like the episode, if that makes sense. I think that the same script could be a great basis for a 50 minutes long live action episode, but the shorter format and the lackluster animation completely destroys it. I got used to the fact that every single time the animators didn't want to animate moving lips, they used little tricks. Sometimes they animated a hand before the character's mouth, usually in a completely wrong angle. Sometimes they cut to a static shot of something else, and other times they cut to a completely unrelated stock shot. While I personally don't really mind things like adding an arm and a hand or zooming in a bit, I can't accept cutting to a stock shot. It always brings me out of the story. And I think these cuts are extremely annoying. It's just the animators being cheap. I think that they simply took a task they were not just able to deliver. I get it, but that won't prevent me from complaining about it. And another thing, just look at the sequence. Here, shit starts to explode. Not only are the centers of the explosions not connected to anything, they also have absolutely no impact on anything, including the Enterprise. So why are they in the shot? This could be cut out completely or told to us with a line of dialogue, or this effect. For some reason, some of the shots in this sequence have this strange wave effect added to them, but other shots don't. It's so annoying. I think that they wanted to give it to every shot, but then they decided that it takes actual work and effort. So they gave up after a few shots. So why the F did they use the effect on some of the shots? It's so annoying and distracting. Either show the effects on all of the shots or on none of the shots, but don't mix it, it just doesn't work. This is a huge problem I have with all the episodes. They feel like they said to themselves, screw that, it's just a stupid kids show, nobody will care. And it's just sad. Anyway, it's so hard for me to rate this one. As I said, I think that the script is really good, but I just can't say I like the finished episode. And the notion that it could be so much better is just sad. I think 6 out of 10 is a fair rating to this one. It's definitely above average. By the way, Paramount, if you really like to recycle ideas for the reboot movies, why don't you try to take this script and make it into a full movie? The story has a perfect opportunity to show different planets, wild action, lots of suspense and emotional scenes. For example, a sequence where the children are sent away probably to never see their families again could be really emotional if done correctly. But as always, these are just my personal opinions about this episode. What do you think about it? I must admit I checked some fan ratings on the internet for this episode, and the ratings are all over the place. I found some giving it low scores like 2 out of 5, but also great scores like 10 out of 10, so I'd like to know what you think. Feel free to write your comments down in the comment section, and if you like these little videos, I'm doing them every week, feel free to watch any of the previous episodes, and if you like this one, come back next week when I'll be talking about the Lorelei signal. Thanks a lot for watching, bye.